Okay, you may have heard of a guy named Zig Ziglar, but have you ever heard of his lesser-known son, Tom Ziglar? So mean.
Well, he is a little bit lesser known. Zig's been around for a long time.
Anyway, Tom has come up with an idea recently, and my question is he right on, or is he kind of crazy with this idea? Is this just another guru thing?
Well, let's find out. So the idea that he came up with...
Wait, we're going to zoom in.
Okay. So the idea he came up with is you replace a bad habit with a good one. So if you have some sort of issue in your life, or anything, the fastest way to success is you take this bad habit that you have, maybe smoking, maybe it's drinking sodas, whatever. Find a place to start, and you replace that bad habit with a good one. You don't just get rid of a bad habit, but you replace it with a good one. And, it kind of takes your life to the next level. And the more times you do that, the more you're building the brain chemistry that makes you a successful thinker.
But did he just come up with this idea, and is it actually a logical idea? I mean, it sounds good. It sounds like a smart thing, but is it just another guru talk type of thing? Like, hey, I've got this idea, and I'm Tom Ziglar, so it must be a good one. Or is it actually a valid, hey, you replace this and you'll actually get to a point of success faster? Because he's claiming this is the fastest way to success.
So the way he came up with this thing is he had somebody that asked him, what's the fastest way to success? Well, he was on stage, kind of put him on the spot, and he just came up with it off the top of his head. Replace a bad habit with a good one. And then he stopped and he kind of thought about it later, and he's like, is that really a thing? Did I hear that somewhere? Why did that just come out of my mouth like that? And he did the research. He couldn't find where that had been said that way before. So, I mean, obviously it's the sort of thing, it's like, okay, that's, there's some common sense involved in there. This probably wasn't a completely original idea, but, this is the sort of thing where if you fill your mind with the right things and you have the right attitude and mindset, these are the sort of things, your beliefs kind of rise to the surface. And so this is the sort of thing that you may come up with given the right situation.
So yeah, he has these truths in him, and one of those truths, it's kind of just something that's kind of ingrained in these business guys, these successful people, is that if you are picking up good habits, you're going to be a successful person.
Right.
And if you're getting rid of bad habits, you're going to be a successful person.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
Okay, there we did that thing where we cut each other off.
We cut each other off. That's how...
We're trying not to do that. We're listening to feedback here. Okay, but here's the thing I wanted to throw in there is that now I forgot what it was.
That's why we shouldn't cut each other off. That's a bad habit. And we're going to replace that with a good habit.
Now, we shouldn't talk about cutting each other off because that's what made me forget. Cutting you off was fine.
Okay.
I didn't forget cutting you off.
This is what we want to explore, though, is that true? Right. If we replaced a bad habit, would we be successful? Is that really the most successful driving factor of a business?
That reminds me of what I wanted to say. So it is. I would say that intelligence doesn't lead to success. Scientific studies have been done and shown that people with high intellect don't necessarily become successful just because they have high intellect.
Right.
And you hear Robert Kiyosaki talk about in Rich Dad, the C students are the guys that get rich because they don't know how to do anything. They have to hire these other people to do anything, and they end up building systems.
Yeah.
So I would say that the most important thing for success is discipline. And every time you replace a bad habit with a good one, you are building your discipline in incremental ways.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But let's use some real examples. What's a real example of a bad habit that's holding people back?
Okay. Smoking's an easy...
Well, yeah, but that's not... I mean, people that are successful smoke.
That's true.
I mean, not necessarily.
Well, any bad habit you think of, somebody who's successful is going to have that bad habit too.
Here's a bad habit.
Okay.
Checking your phone first thing you do when you wake up in the morning.
Okay.
So let's replace that bad habit, because that's a bad habit. When you are now putting your phone as your first agenda when you wake up, that's not your agenda. That's somebody else's agenda. You're checking to see what other people want of you.
Okay.
And that's putting somebody else's agenda first. So your first 30 minutes in the morning might be dedicated to your phone. Let's replace that bad habit with a good habit. Which one would, so not checking your emails, studying how to be a good business person, studying the best way to practice YouTube tips and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, I could see that being a thing to help you be
First
successful.
thing in the morning, though, I have a hard time focusing.
Okay, well, you're checking the phone. What would be
I guess
better...
you'd be focusing anyway. Huh?
You're focusing on somebody else's agenda.
sense.
What would be better habit to make you a more successful person?
So here's one thing that I've done that's maybe it's smaller than that. Maybe it's small enough that it's almost insignificant. But in the morning, instead of waking up and being like, "Oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to get up," I try to have a positive thought. You know, I'd be thankful for the day. I'd be thankful for what I'm gonna accomplish that day. And I start off. I try to make my first thought out of bed a thankful one.
Okay.
Instead of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get up.
I could see the real benefit in saying what you're thankful for as soon as you get out of bed.
I think it's helped me have a more positive day, and so maybe
I could see myself being able to get out of bed better if I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Let's take another bad habit. Let's just run through a few.
Okay. So here's one that I've tried to start doing a lot more lately. Instead of drinking a soda, like when you go out to eat or something, drink a water.
Or coffee.
Or coffee. Well, I try to limit my caffeine to a certain amount a day, or I have a hard time sleeping.
Yeah, definitely. Health-wise, replacing a soda with a water is a really good choice.
And each one is a win. Every time I do it, I feel like, hey, I did something good. And then when I don't do it, I don't try to beat myself up.
So those are great and all, but are those going to make you a successful person? Is that going to make your business successful because you swapped out water for soda? Like the fastest way to success. Right. Like he's saying it's the fastest way to success is replacing bad habits with good habits.
You know, I would probably take issue with saying fastest, but the best, yes. I would say this is the best way to success. Because some people get success fast by doing a shady deal or being,
right,
doing something wrong, and they'll get to success maybe faster than somebody who does it this way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say fastest.
Okay. And I do think I did hear him clarify that a little bit. You really ought to go listen to Tom Ziglar if you haven't. They've got a show. They've got a podcast. So super good. Guy named Dan Miller hosts it, but they always have little highlights of Zig Ziglar stuff. And Tom Ziglar gets on every once in a while, and they interview really successful people. So, highly recommended. But, yeah, he goes into that a little bit and talks about more like this is the best way. So, he went from fastest to best. I think he did kind of clarify that.
So, to recap, what you need to do, what you want to do is you want to take that bad habit and get rid of it. But you need to fill that void with a good habit. Keep in mind, habits take 21 to 90 days to solidify. 21 days to become a habit, 90 days to become a way of life. So you want to make sure you do that. Don't do too many at the same time. Pick one thing, work with that till it's solid, then go on to the next one. You don't want to overwhelm yourself because then fight or flight kicks in.
All right, guys, so let us know what things you're going to be replacing, what bad habits you have that you might replace with a good habit, and let's see if this actually works. Is it going to bring us to a better place in life? So leave those below. We'll be checking in on you, and we'll be stalking you on Facebook and all that stuff.
We do that anyway, but But thank you for watching.
Bye, guys. Over the last year, we've been doing a lot of research on what YouTubers need to hear and what you guys have been asking for.
We're going to be focusing on not how to grow your channel or how to go viral, but how to make this small YouTuber game a sustainable, part-time, or full-time career.